Marlon Sanders here. I don't know if you can see the book or not. I'll bring it up big screen here and then we'll dive into it. Uh, book is called, oh crap, the title's reversed. I apologize. The book is called How to Make Millions Sitting on Your Assets by TJ Rowleader. You can see it there on the screen. This is a book. I bought this in 2011. I go back to it time and time again. You can kind of see here how torn up the book is. I just thought I love this book, and I thought I'll just read you a couple things from it and show you kind of why I love this book. So we'll just flip through it here and I'll find something a little bit at random. And maybe I'll do this like a few times, right? So as you can see, I mark it up in here a lot. Now, the thing about TJ is that, look, there's a lot of people that do marketing. A lot of people are really good at marketing, great at marketing. Some are incredible. Now, they make things really complicated because they're trying to raise themselves up, right? So they make it, I don't know. It's like they're trying to create this big gap so that you have to buy from them because they're so far up on the pedestal. That's the guru business, right? Be on the mountain, the guru on the mountain, and make people climb up the mountain, right? What I love about TJ is, he sends like 30 to 50,000 pieces of direct mail a month. Been doing that for 30 years. Sold $100 million, but he boils everything down and keeps it just simple. When you're like, okay, oh crap, it's temporarily out of stock. Well, I guess there's used copies here. All right. So you can buy used copies. You may not be able to get, it says they're temporarily out of stock. You may not be able to get a new copy, but you can get used copies for like $50. Probably if you contact TJ's office, you can get a copy of it. I don't know. It's his best book. He's got a bunch of books, but to me, this is by far his best. He says here, he's talking about copywriting. He says that people don't read, they just skim through a letter. They don't read the whole thing. And he says, if you have the same benefit expressed 10 different ways, hopefully even the apathetic reader will read it at least once. It really does take repetition just to get it into their head. Saying things over and over again helps to get the message across, and it helps convert sales in the long run. As I write this, I'm looking at a 44-page sales booklet we used as an example during the original seminar in this section of this chapter. This is like, he did this as transcripts, I think, of a lot of them were done as transcripts of seminars. Then he sent it to a writer, and the writer wrote it so that it was good English, right? So he talks there about repeating benefits, why you need to repeat benefits. He says he uses 10 different readership paths because people read all over the place. So he'll have a PS, he'll have things highlighted and underlined, he'll have subheadlines. So he tries to give people a lot of different opportunities when they're scanning to read little snippets and little benefits, right? You want them to be able to get the main points without having to read the entire sales letter from front to back. Now, keep in mind, some of the sales letters are like 40 and 50 pages long. You say, well, Martin, no one reads 40 to 50 pages. That's what he's talking about. That's the freaking point, is he's like underlining, using different sizes of type, putting stuff in subheads so that he knows they're not reading it. No, no one ever said they read it beginning to end, word for word for word for word. No. They scan the letter. But what you're trying to do is what he just said here is you want them to get the main points without having to read the entire letter front to back. It's on page 361. This is a big book. But you just open it up and start reading anywhere and you'll get a lot out of it, right? And last but not least, segment your list and be creative with it. You have to segment your list because not all customers are the same. People who spend more money are showing you they're more serious, and that's how you have to interpret that spending. So always separate people by the amount of money they spend and by how recently they bought. Make them offers while they're still what I call in heat. I don't know how else to say it. That's when they're the most passionate, enthusiastic. You have to realize that timing is essential here. Every day you sit on those when you get new leads in. Every day you're not sending stuff out to the people who requested it. You're shooting yourself in the foot, right? Okay. So now we're going to just randomly, I'll just randomly go to another page. I'll look for the first thing that I underline, which is already here in green, right? And let's see here. It says, in almost every sales letter that ever goes out, we tell some version of their story, their signature story of how they started from nothing and made a lot of money. This is the thing that connects us with our market. If you told me 20 years ago you could have a relationship with tens of thousands of people, that would have sounded like a shallow concept to me, right? In his story, he tells it here, how they didn't give up. They finally found a couple of programs that worked, and they started making $16,000 a month. They went, and then they started working with Rush Von Holster. They went from $16,000 a month to $100,000 a week in 9 months. The best part of the story is they didn't give up. He says, once you found these stories, they need to be practiced. All the best ways to tell them, the best way to draw people in. See, this is stuff you can understand. This is stuff you can apply. So many, and I understand it. Like people are really weird or strange or something. It's the need for dopamine, the incessant need for new things, right? For things that sound impressive that they don't know. And somehow if you have this impressive sounding scientific system, you must be able to get better results with it. I don't believe that's true at all. You probably can't implement that highly manicured, great sounding method that probably isn't the way it is in reality at all. It's like Dan Kennedy in this video I watched yesterday. He said, you know what people really want is the exact step-by-step thing. They want scripts, exactly what to say, fill in the blank. This is what people want. And in reality, he's like, well, that's the opposite of what you should do, because if it's all of those things, because everybody's doing it, it's probably not going to work very well, right? And so the things that work are the things in this book, right? I mean, I'm even surprised they let Amazon use this title, because it's an outrageous title. But that is, when he says sitting on your assets, wow, Marlon, you can't make millions sitting on your assets. Well, he's got employees doing the work, and his job is to write sales letters. He creates products sitting at the computer, and he writes sales letters. That's his job, right? So at night, when his wife is watching TV, he sits down with his laptop and edits his sales letters, right? He writes every morning. So is it true? Yeah, that's actually what he does, because he has employees that fulfill the orders. He ain't got to fulfill the orders. He has employees that take the customer support calls. He ain't got to do that. What does he have to do? He has to find the direct mail list, or work with the team members who do, make sure the direct mail is dropped every week, right? And he's got to write a crap ton and come up with the ideas for new promotions, right? So, I mean, I guess in a court of law, they could say, well, that's not what all you're doing. But that's essentially the important part of the business, is he's creating the business. He's creating the business by coming up with the ideas, by writing, right? By creating the sales letters, the offers. That's the business. That really is the business, right? All right, I'll read you one more and then we'll wrap this up today. All right. Let's just go here. We'll just pick random here. Not a page that has a marker in it, just random. And see, it's marked up. Every page just about has something marked up in it. So this one says, sometimes you have to test a lot of things before you finally figure out where your niche is. And in the opportunity market, you'll find a certain niche. Most successful companies in the marketplace have found certain areas they're comfortable in. So so with these programs, they just keep restamping out the same themes over and over and over again. You got to test the water a little, maybe a lot, before you find which direction is best for you. So there's nothing in here that's rocket science. Everything in here is extremely profound common sense marketing, right? But understand that he does this at a very big level, right? Like, I'll see here if I can find a thing where he's talking about it. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find one more to read you. Just trying to see if I can find one here about how much they mail on the front end. He talks about it a lot, but I don't know if I can find it just flipping through it here. Anyway, what I know is he mails like 30 to 50,000 pieces a week for the front end offer. And then when people respond to that, he sends them the promotions for the back end. He does a lot of teleconference calls, and I think they still do teleconferences, not webinars, because everybody has a phone. Not everybody, wants to go on their laptop and sit there and watch a webinar. He sells to the masses, right? Well, anyway, good morning to you if you're watching this on my Facebook group or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever you are. I thought I'd share that with you. Favorite book of mine. I read it a lot. I always come back to it. It's just common sense marketing, and it's exact opposite, frankly, of what you see in all the programs that are making millions and millions and millions of dollars that are, again, what people want. The exact step by step, blah, 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 blah. And, I'm sure they got their success stories out of that, but that's not really marketing. It's not real world, right? It's like, it's what sells. There's a difference between what sells and what pitches well. And what the real process of making money is. What you see on the screen here, that's the real process. This is the real deal. All the other stuff is what people want to buy. Do you understand that? Do you not get that? Everything else is just what people want to buy. What people want to buy is the tightly produced, manufactured, exact details, step-by-step script, everything, right? Because they don't want to screw up. They don't want to make mistakes, right? But that's not how the deal works. It's not real life. So you have a choice. You can go out and you can spend money on these very elaborate, highly refined, good sounding, perfect systems, right? Or you could embrace the uncertainty of what the real process is. That's your choice, right? All right, that's it for today. Appreciate you all being on. Let me see if I can get back to my screen here. All right. Okay, if you did watch this on replay, type replay. If you watch it live, type live. If you watch it the bitter end, type bitter end. You all have a great day.